Hi, back again. Okay, in this video I want to talk about, I mentioned in a prior video, and it'll be a common theme throughout any type of healing process, but that's to speak to how we heal and forgiveness, right? And actually there's so many layers to it, which we'll discuss. But in this video, I wanted to talk about chanting mantras, right? And mantras are things that we repeat, right? Something that we believe that we repeat. Chanting mantras would be saying something over and over again, right? But it's called Ho'oponopono. It's a very well-known, renowned chanting mantra process that basically says, when we're trying to heal, or if we have issues that we're concerned with, or that we feel that we're blocked from, right? We can go through this process, which kind of resonates with the body, right, and the mind. When we ask, there's 4 parts to it. We ask for repentance, and you'll hear that sometimes in alcohol, AA groups, NA groups, all those. It's seeking forgiveness from others, right? So or we apologize to others, for what we've done. So the first part of the Ho'oponopono is I'm sorry, right? We just say we're sorry. I'm sorry. And in a general term, I don't think it's even necessary that we have to say what we're sorry for, but we just say that we're sorry, right? Then the second part of the process is that we ask for forgiveness. So we say, I'm sorry. Then we say, please forgive me. And then we show gratitude. We thank them, right? We say thank you. And then the last one is love and self-acceptance, right? So we say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, right? This could be to ourselves. Obviously, it's for others as well, but we can use the mantra for ourselves, right? So it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Those words are very powerful, right? And when we acknowledge for ourselves that, that we need forgiveness, right? That we're sorry for what we've done, and we need forgiveness. And we're thankful that it's granted to us, and that we love ourselves, and we love whoever we've maybe hurt or harmed in some way, right? And going through this, people chant it, right? They just say it over and over again and repeat it. Or it can, I can refer to myself. I used it a lot for a period of time, and then I kind of forget about it. But I used it on my healing journey to get through what I had to go through, because I did have a lot of people hurt or harm me in the past, which everybody does, but it was in work settings where it was really difficult to deal with, 8 hours a day, every day, 5 days a week, every week, for long periods of time. It's a difficult thing, and when you feel like you can't remove yourself from it in some way, it was very challenging. I believe that I've had 2 of those experiences, actually. But the reason I believe that I had those experiences was to teach me that my power and my control and my emotional well-being is not outside of myself, it's within myself. So no matter what someone does to me, or tries to do to me, and purposefully does to me or towards me, and I feel like I have to defend myself, obviously in an ego-based situation at the time, it was very challenging. But I did learn that I had to go within I had to go within myself to heal myself and heal what I thought about the situation and myself and how it made me feel, right? Because we do, when something's outside of ourselves and we feel like it's hurting us or harming us, we want them to just get away or stop, or we want to remove ourselves from it because that's the only way we know how to fix it. And it feels disempowering. We feel victimized in that type of setting or situation. But the truth of the situation is no one has the power over what we think. We can't control someone's behavior. We can't control their actions. We have no power over that. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to accept because we live in a largely ego-based world where everyone's, fighting each other or competing with each other or whatever the dynamic is, right? But when we learn through certain experiences and processes that we learn that we are the thinker in our mind, right? We control what we think and what we don't think. Most people don't know that, but we have the power to think what we want to think. And it's actually a gift to us. We have a choice. What do you want to think about what's happened? You can choose a negative thought about it. You could choose a positive thought. We think 70,000 thoughts plus a day. I mentioned this in one of my other videos. But you have a choice on how you're going to interpret a situation. And like I said, it goes back to the lens that we look through life. That plays into this, right? How you see the world, what you believe based upon your experiences, your upbringing, your ethnicity, everything determines how you view something. But you also have the power to choose what you're going to think about something. And a big challenge with that as well is like societally, we do have a culture that believes certain things bigger than ourselves, right? A culture that believes if this happens, it's right. If this happens, it's wrong. If this happens, it's good. If that happens, it's bad, right? And those are all judgments. And it's up to the viewer to decide whether it's good or bad or right or wrong. And it's up to us how we're going to think about it. No one can force that on us. That was shown to me on my healing journey as well when I read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl when he was in a Nazi concentration camp. And I can totally relate to that to this day because you'll see people that are in experiences right now and they're tortured in an experience. I'm not talking about physically tortured, like mentally tortured or existentially maybe tortured. And what they don't realize is that their thinking is what's creating what they feel, and it's creating their experiences. So, and you can see it in people, and it's unfortunate because if more people knew about this, there could be more freedom and relief from pain and suffering. But anyway, getting back to, diverging here a little bit, getting back to Viktor Frankl, when he was in the concentration camps, he saw people that were basically going out of their mind because they had a thought and a belief. Obviously, it was very serious circumstance and situation to be in that would challenge anyone, right? And we wouldn't wish that experience on anybody or anyone. It's horrible. But the reason that he brought it up in his book was because he decided that he had no control over his circumstance. He had no control that he was there. He was forcibly put there, as was everyone that he was with, right? They had no choice. They were forced into this situation. And there was obviously horrible things that people heard and saw and were expecting to experience themselves, which has to be terrifying and horrifying. And a lot of people just, didn't have any thought control or mind control because everyone basically collectively was believing the same thing. But the point with this, with it's so profound too. The point of his book, and it's very profound, is that he decided he wasn't going to think the way others were thinking about what they were experiencing. He decided he was going to take control of his mind and take control of his thoughts. Now, people can do anything outside of us, right? Horrible things can do anything outside of us. They don't control what we think about what happens. I mean, like I said, societally, there's like a cultural umbrella, if you will, where everyone seems to think this is good, that's bad, this is right. And it's just unconscious. We all go, oh, yeah, that's wrong, or that person's this, or that person. But the point becomes, we can choose what we think about anything. Anything. Anything, right? And choosing what we think and having thoughts that are supportive or comforting or help ease the journey or ease the process or the experience, whatever it is, right, is up to us. I mean, I'll give you some examples. And obviously it's not to the degree that the Holocaust was, because we all agree that's unbelievable circumstance. He survived, obviously, and to get back to that real quick, but he survived, and then he spoke about this. This is how he survived, because he controlled what he thought about what he was going through, and he wasn't going to let himself fall into the trap of the beliefs and the thoughts that most people around him were experiencing. And he survived and lived after, right? Which is amazing. It's a miracle. But like I said, I'm going to give you an example, okay? One example that's current that came to mind was, I have a family member who has a fear of a particular type of testing, okay? And that testing needed to be done multiple times due to a condition. And the person had so much fear from this particular test. I don't have much more on the thought that went behind it, because I'm not that person in their thought process. But there was so much fear, right? And just overwhelming fear to even think about having this particular type of testing. So that, because of, knowledge, when you learn things and you find out that we have control over what we think and we can change what we think, we don't necessarily have to have the fear, right? If we think it's automatic and we have no control over it, then that's the way it is. So I happen to have a test. I've had that particular test, but I've also had other tests, where you're in like a small tube, you open your eyes and, there's the tube right there. And it can be like a claustrophobic type of situation, right? A lot of people get upset, and rightfully so, right? And panicked over it. Well, I shared with a family member when I went in for this test, right? It was similar to the test, not exactly, but similar to the test. I explained that when I go into this test, knowing that, I'm in a tube and it's right close to my face. I'm not claustrophobic, so that's a blessing, right? But I'm aware that it's right there and it's not a comfortable feeling. So I choose to keep my eyes closed. The minute I lay down, before they even wheel me in there, I close my eyes. I do not open my eyes for any reason at all. And I meditate. So meditation is a big part of healing, and we'll get to that in another video. But I just start meditating, and meditating meaning I just close my eyes and I decide what I'm going to think, right? About whatever's going on, I choose it, right? So in the most recent occurrence, I went in and the technician had said to me, which I thought was interesting, there's a particular type of music that I listen to that's very healing to me and uplifting and is a joy in my life, right? So this technician mentions to me, she goes, well, we have, you can listen to whatever type of music you want. We have classic rock, hard rock on right now. And I was like, oh, can you play you know, the type of music. She goes, sure, no problem, which I was surprised. For whatever reason, I thought maybe I was locked into the music that they play it for everybody, right? But I was able to choose, and I couldn't believe it because, you know, I laid down, closed my eyes, they wheeled me in, and here comes my favorite music on, and I was in there for an hour, and I got to listen to my favorite music for an hour, and it wasn't a terrible experience. It was actually a enjoyable experience. I had my eyes closed. I was meditating, just being still and listening to beautiful music. What is there to resist, right? Nothing. But see how when someone has a fear of something, they automatically resist it, and then when they resist it, they're creating like a level of dissonance within themselves, you know, a repelling of what is, instead of like maybe the radical acceptance of, I know what this is and this is it, you know, and I just have to go with it. What can I do to make it better for myself, right? And what I can do, like I chose in a slightly different experience, was to just be grateful that I could change the music. I wasn't upset. I wasn't resisting. I was in peace already, which is a large contributor to having an enjoyable experience. But then the fact that, you know, the music I loved was being played for me to listen to the whole time, I was like, wow, I was happy. And I was like, this is, you know, it was a positive experience for me. But it just shows you how you can have the same exact experience as someone else, and one person can respond in fear and, you know, resistance and repelling, and then the anxiety goes up, right? You can create the anxiety within yourself by your own thoughts, right? As well as the flip side, you can create positive thoughts and feelings because you're relaxed, you're not resisting, things are flowing, you're listening to something that you find very enjoyable, and the fact that you even have the option to listen to music that you love that's, you know, enjoyable to you, it's all good, right? But it's all how we view it and the thoughts that we think and what we believe about what's happening is the key to so much. It really, really is. And when you recognize that and you work towards it, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You work towards it. It's a benefit in your life in any circumstance. That just happens to be one particular circumstance. So, all right. So we went over the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. And then choosing what we think, right? We'll get more into it as we move along. Okay, I hope you found that helpful, and I wish you love and peace on your healing journey. Okay, bye.